Hello students and welcome in today's session. Today we are going to start our chapter number 13 from the unit 10, right? Unit 10 is very important unit because it is very easy and it carries 14 marks. So these 14 marks are there as like in your pockets, right? So you can prepare it very easily, right? So today we will start the chapter number 13 from the unit 10, that is organisms and populations, right? So in this we are learning about the organism, environment and its various factor along with the population. In that only 2 points are there: organism and its environment and the population. So generally whenever we are studying about the environment, then most of the things which occurs in the environment, that all answers we are getting just by asking the two questions. It is first, how does occur, right? And why does this occur? Why and how? How means we are getting the answer, how it takes place, mechanism of that things, how it carried out in the nature. And why, whenever we are asking the question why it happens, right? So that time we are getting the reason behind it, why the things has happened. Here it is given with the example that how the bird is singing and why the bird is singing. Two different question is based on the singing of the bird, right? But whenever you are asking how, means the mechanism of singing with the vocal cord, it will be asked. And whenever the question will be asked why, then it will give the reason why there is need to sing a bird, right? So for communication or what any purpose is there, so that will be the answer. So in this way we are able to understand our nature in the surroundings, right? So this is all information is given here in detail. Here the definition of the ecology is given. So in that, see, ecology is a subject which studies the interactions among the organisms, between the organism and its physical environment. See, important word, interactions. Interactions among organism, right? Among organisms means between the two organisms, as well as organism and its physical environment, means organism to organism interaction also, as well as organism to environment also. This all interactions whenever we are studying, then that will gives you a ecology's definition. So this is the definition of a ecology. Let's see here. Ecology is a branch of science that studies the relationship between the organism and its physical and biological environment. One more word is added here, biological environment. So this definition if you will write in exam, then also it's okay, right? So this is the definition for the ecology. Now these are given some of the levels of the organization in the ecology. So whenever you are considering any ecology, so you can take any small community, small example of an ecology or very big example of a ecology. So you can start here from the organism, right? Then all the same species of the organisms comes together to form its population. Different populations comes together to form a community. These different communities comes together to form an ecosystem, and different ecosystems comes together to form a biosphere, right? So these are different levels of organization in the ecology: biosphere, ecosystem, community, population and organism, or you can go from organism to biosphere. So these are different levels of the organizations in the ecosystem. So this you can see here, it is given different levels of the organisms, right? So next point is organism and its environment. So in that if you will see, different biomes are given here, right? So in that, annual variations in the intensity and duration of the temperature, 2 points have considered, right? One is the temperature and second one is the precipitation, right? So in 1 year, whatever the variations we see in the temperature and the precipitation, Because of these variations, we can see here there are formation of a different major biomes, and these are given the name of a biome: Arctic and alpine tundra, coniferous forest, temperate forest, grassland, tropical forest, and desert, right? So these are the different biomes. Now, which biome has which kind of a temperature and precipitation? This you are able to understand with this picture, right? So here if you will see, this is the desert. So in the desert, temperature will be very high, and at the same time if you will come down here, this is mean annual precipitation, means rainfall, right? So it is very less, that's why it is a desert. Then come little bit with increase in precipitation, right? The grassland is there, and temperature range is also come little bit down, right? So from near about 1-2 degree centigrade to 25 degree centigrade, if you will see with this much precipitation, then you can get to see a grassland. Same like that, below 0 degree centigrade, less temperature is there, and little bit more, near about 100 precipitation is there, then that will gives you Arctic and alpine tundra, right? As the precipitation goes on increasing, in the middle range of the temperature, coniferous forest is there. Then as the temperature increased along with the rainfall, then it is called, gives you a temperate forest, and with a high precipitation and at high temperature, tropical forests are there, right? So prepare this diagram very nicely, even they are labeling. Based on this, 2 marks question will be asked. This diagram will be given and it will be labeled as A, B, C, right? So you have to identify the labels. So this diagram is there in your textbook. All the labels you prepare along with their precipitation and temperature variation. So this is what biomes, various types of biomes are there. Next, see, next slide. Here various terms are given, that is abiotic factors. Abiotic means the factors which are not living, absence of life in that. Abiotic factors, right? So which are the abiotic factors are there? That is temperature, water, light and soil. Then biotic factors means the living factors which shows impacts on the ecosystem, right? So these are pathogens, parasites, predators and competitors. So these are all living factors, that is called as the biotic factor. Next term is temperature, right? So temperature, all of you know that all the physiological functions are there, geographical distribution of the different biomes are there, that is governed by the temperature, change in temperature. Just now we have seen, the less temperature is there, then which biome will be formed, and high temperature, which biome will be there. So temperature is again showing a impact in the geographical distribution of the organisms as well as plants. It affects the kinetic of enzymes. Enzymes function is again occurs in a very small range of the temperature. In increased temperature, enzymes will be inactive. In low temperature also, enzymes will become inactive, right? So in this way, in the functioning of enzyme, temperature plays a very important role. BMR, basic metabolic rate, right? So this is depend on the temperature, and all other physiological actions of the organisms are there. All these physiological actions of the organisms depend on the temperature. Next term is eurythermal. Now try to understand this term. This is depend on the temperature. The organism which can tolerate wide range of temperature, means from 10 degree centigrade to the 50 degree centigrade. This is the 40 degree centigrade's wide range of temperature is there, and if organism can survive in this wide range of temperature, then that organisms are known as the eurythermal organism. Or some of the organisms may have the temperature range from -5, 10 to the 25, 30, 40, right? So this is what a very big range of temperature in which organism can survive very well. So such organisms are called as eurythermal organism. Stenothermal organisms are there opposite to the eurythermal. So they can tolerate very narrow range of temperature. Means suppose 4-5 degree centigrade temperature range is there. The temperature is of 35 degree centigrade to 40 degree centigrade. In this range only suppose any organism is able to survive nicely, right? Reproduce highestly. Then that range of temperature is called as a narrow range of temperature, and the organism which shows or survive in such narrow range of temperature is known as the stenothermal organism, right? So these are the two terms which is related to the temperature. Eurythermal, wide range of temperature. Stenothermal, narrow range of temperature. Then next factor is water. It is influencing the life of the organism because it is very important factor. Without water, no any organism can survive. Every living organism needs water, right? Here, productivity and distribution of the organisms, again it is depend on the water because water is most needed substance for the organism. Without water they cannot survive. Now you will say that the aquatic organisms are there, as they are living in the water they don't need water. No, it's not like that, because the aquatic organisms are there, they are living in the water, but of that waters, what is the chemical composition is there, what is its pH, what is its salinity, what is its temperature, these are all factors which affects on the organism as they are aquatic. Then also if any change in these factors are there, that water may not be fit for that organism, and organism cannot survive in that condition. So again aquatic organism also has an importance of water, need of water. Then euryhaline and stylohaline, these two terms are there. It is the same as like the eurythermal and stenothermal. Thermal, it is related with the temperature. Here haline is there, this word is related with the salt concentration. Again here eury means wide range of salinity and steno means narrow range of salinity. You know that in the ocean water is saline, right? So in that salt concentration is very high. So whenever very high concentration of salt is there and the organism can survive in that high concentration of the salt, right? Then we can say that euryhaline organism means suppose salt concentration in the water is about 20% to 35-40%, right? And the organism, those who are surviving in this wide range of the salinity of the water, they are called as euryhaline. And some of the organisms are there, they can survive in 4 to 5% of that saline water percentage only, right? Means water salinity ranges from 30% to the 35% salt, right? So that small range of salinity will be there, and the organism, those who can survive in that small range of salinity are called as the stylohaline. Now see with the textbook the same terms. Yeah, the biome just now we have seen, right? And these are the types of the forest. This also you prepare very nicely. This will also be asked for the labeling, which this picture shows which type of forest, this picture shows which type of forest. So the name of these forests are given. This is tropical rainforest, this one. This is deciduous forest. Then this one is the desert and this one is the sea coast. So you have to remember in this way. Little bit difference is there. See here, long trees are there, heighted 1, 2, 3 only, and majority sky is showing. That will be your the tropical rainforest. Very thick along with the ocean water is given, that is the sea coast. Dried one is there with the grass, that is the desert, and remaining one majority of the green and where the sky is not seen, that will be your deciduous forest. In this way you can remember these pictures, because for identification of these pictures 1 mark question will be asked, right? Now see the next. Major abiotic factors in that temperature I have already said, right? So some of the points are given here. In some of the areas the temperature ranges from sub-zero, means below zero level in polar areas, and at high altitude if you will see it is more than 50 degrees centigrade in the tropical desert areas in the summer, right? If you will see some of the thermal springs, right, which are the unique habitats, means thermal springs are there, or if you go deep sea hydrothermal vents, then there the temperature range is very high and may be beyond 100 degrees centigrade, means more than 100 degrees centigrade it is there, right? So that's why due to various range of temperature we found on the earth, the organism which can survive in one area cannot survive in the other areas. Here example is given that mango trees do not and cannot grow in temperate countries like Canada and Germany, because whatever the temperature is essential for the mango trees, that we cannot see in these countries, and that's why the mango trees cannot survive in these countries. Second example is given of snow leopard. Snow leopards, we know that they need very low temperature, so these also we cannot found them in the Kerala forest, right? And because in the Kerala temperature is high as compared to the polar region, right? Tundra fish are rarely caught beyond the tropical latitudes, right? So this is what the reasons are given, because the temperature ranges varies in the earth, so it will be different at different places. Now now the next point is water, right? So in the water also it is given about the importance of the water, why water is essential, and its salinity, right? So in majority the salinity in sea water is given 30 to 35%, and in some of the hypersaline lagoons are there, it will be greater than 100, right? So based on that also stenohaline and euryhaline, these two terms we have seen in PDF. Next point is their light, right? So what is the importance of light in all living organisms? It is given in this point. So here plants, you know that they will carry out the photosynthesis process in presence of light only, right? So in absence of light, photosynthesis process will not be there, so they will not prepare the food, and as we know all the organisms are getting food from the plants only, so no food will be there if the light is not there. Even some of the organisms are there, they are behaving according to the light, right? So some are the nocturnal, means in absence of light they will be come out and show their behavior, right? Some organisms are there, they will show their behavior positively in presence of light, means during daytime they will complete their all activities, right? Not in absence of light. Some of the plants are there, they are also showing their activities towards the light, so they are positively phototrophic. Blooming of the flowers are there, that is also related with the light. Blooming of the flowers is again depend on the how much light the plants take, right? So that is called as the photo period. So some of the plants require particular amount of photo period, and in that photo period only they are able to bloom the flowers, means reproduce, right? If they will not get the particular amount of photo period, the flowers will not bloom, and if the flowers are not there, definitely the fruits will not be there, right? Reproduction will not be there. So this is what the importance of light. Next point is there about the soil, right? So soil. Actually, soil is depend on climate, on which climate the soil is formed by the weathering process, right? And based on the soil composition, grain size, percolation, water holding capacity, these are some of the properties of the soil given over. pH is there, mineral composition is there, the topography of that area will be determined, right? Vegetation of that area will be determined by the quality of the soil, and vegetation determines the animals found in that area, right? Now take an example. See, suppose the soil is there, you know that a very big rock is there, then due to natural processes like sunlight, water, rain, right, cold weather, because of that the water gets the rock gets weather, and this slowly rock converts into a soil. So based on that rock quality, soil quality will be formed. So what is the quality of the soil? Either its water holding capacity is more or not. Then what is the size of the grain? Is it of a loamy soil, clay soil, or a sandy soil? Based on that, then which types of nutrients are available in the soil? Based on that, which kind of the precipitation is there? More precipitation found in that area, low precipitation is there, what is the temperature range? All these factors are there, they will decide the soil quality, right? Even based on the nutrients present in the soil, pH of the soil is there, climatic conditions are there, these all factors will decide which types of plants will grow in that soil, right? Means this soil quality automatically decides which kind of vegetation will grow over there. And as you know that on the plants all the animals are depend. So if the type of vegetation is fixed, then on that type of vegetation which animal can survive. So based on that, animals which is found in that area will also be determined. So soil is that factor which determines the vegetation as well as animals because of its various qualities. So these are four abiotic factors of the ecology. One is the temperature, next one is the water, third is light, and fourth is soil. So based on these all 4 points, 5 marks question may asked, right? What is the ecology, and give its different abiotic factors affecting on it, how they shows their impact, right? So like that question will be asked. So prepare this very nicely. Suppose this big question will not be asked on this, then small questions will be asked, like urehaline, stenohaline is there, differences will be asked, urethermal, stenothermal, differences will be asked. These terms are there, right? How the soil is formed, or how the soil decides the vegetation in that area, or in particular area particular plants only are found, or particular area particular animals, why only particular animals we found. So like that questions will be asked. What is mean by photoperiod, right? What is mean by hypersalinity? What are the hypersaline lagoons are there? So what is the concentration of the salt in that area? So all these small questions also be asked for 1 mark. So prepare this point very nicely, right? Next point is their response to a abiotic factor. So let's see with the PPT. Organism response to an environment. So in that, regulation, confirmation, and partial regulation, like that 3 points are there. So what is mean by regulations here? Organism maintain homeostasis in the constant body temperature and osmotic concentration, right? So this is mean by a regulation. Now in that regulation, the word regulation itself says that the organism can able to regulate its body temperature, osmotic pressure, concentration, right? So what is the external environment is there, and what is the internal environment is there? If suppose any change is there in the external environment, according to that the organism are able to change their internal environment or not, right? So based on that this term is given, that the regulator, so they are able to maintain homeostasis. Homeostasis word is there. So what is mean by homeostasis? Homeostasis is nothing but maintaining the constant body temperature and osmotic concentration, right? It will be constant. Suppose in the outer environment if it is decreased, then also organism will maintain it is the same on that same point. If it is increased, then also internal environment no impact will be there, it will be remain on that same concentration, right? Take an example of human body. We are also warm blooded animals and we are also showing the homeostasis, means we are keeping our body temperature constant. What is our body temperature? That is the 37 degrees centigrade. Suppose in winter season our environment temperature goes down, so it will goes to maybe 10 degrees centigrade, 8 degrees centigrade. Some areas it will goes to 4 degrees centigrade also, 2 degrees centigrade also. So what do you think? That time our body temperature also goes down. Suppose not to 4 degrees centigrade, 5 degrees centigrade. Maybe from the 37 it goes to 25, 26. No, it will remain 37 only, right? So in outer environment, if the temperature is falls down, then also in inner environments, it means internal body temperature, it will be remain the constant. And in summer season, suppose this temperature rises up to 42, 43, 45 degrees centigrade, then also our body try to maintain our body temperature at 37 degrees centigrade only. So this is what it is called as a maintaining this is what it is called as the maintaining homeostasis. So all the regulators are there, they are showing the homeostasis for the temperature as well as the osmotic concentration. Then the conformations are there. These conformations in the majority 99% of the animals and plants cannot maintain a constant internal environment, exactly opposite to the regulator. They don't maintain their body temperature constant. In that examples are given animals as well as plants, right? Body temperature varies according to the ambient temperature, external whatever the temperature is there, according to that body temperature varies, right? In aquatic animals, if you will see the conformers, then osmotic concentration of the body is there, that will also be varies with the ambient water osmotic concentration, because here we have seen the two factors, one is temperature and one is the osmotic concentration. So in aquatic animals, they will also shows change in the osmotic concentration of their body fluid along with the external water osmotic concentration, right? Then why they are not showing their body temperature constant? Because to regulate that constant, it needs a very huge amount of energy. So thermoregulation means regulating the temperature constant is an energy expensive process. Heat loss or gain is a function of a surface area. Therefore, small animals are not found in the polar region. Now see here. Here I said about the conformation, right? So in the conformers, the organism, those who are the conformers, what they do? They change their body temperature according to the external body temperature. Now these animals, we are calling them as a cold-blooded. In winter season, they will reduce their body temperature as like the external temperature. In winter, suppose the temperature goes up to the 5, 6, 7 degrees centigrade, they will also reduce their body temperature near about that. So they don't feel cold. When we feel cold, whenever there is a temperature difference, as they have also reduced their body temperature as like the external environment, they don't feel cold. Even in the summer, when the external temperature rises, they will also increase their body temperature. Also that time also they don't feel hot. There is a no sweating mechanism, right? So these animals who can fluctuate their body temperature increase or decrease according to the external environment, they are called as the conformers, right? Now another thing, osmotic pressure is there, right? So in the osmotic pressure also we have seen concentration. So in that also, suppose the due to any reason the water's osmotic concentration has changed, so the organism, those who are living, like suppose fish is an aquatic animal, so it can also change the osmotic inner body fluids osmotic concentration as like the external one. So that's why there is no any problem for that organism to survive in that condition. Now why these animals show such variations, why they are not keeping their body temperature constant? Because to keep the body temperature constant or osmotic concentration constant, huge amount of energy is needed, right? And these animals cannot maintain or cannot afford that amount of energy, because the energy they are getting from the food metabolism, and if they will utilize this whole amount of energy to maintain the body temperature, they cannot survive, they cannot grow properly, right? And that's why huge amount of loss will be there of energy, and they may get die. And this is the reason why we can see that in the polar region we cannot see small sized organisms or the birds, especially birds, right? Because in the polar region temperature is very low, and suppose the bird organism is there, then internal body temperature will be high, and you know that the surface area which is available there, through that surface area heat will be loosed from the body, right? From high temperature to low temperature. Definitely in polar region temperature is low, so the bird's body temperature is high, so automatically heat will be started losing. Suppose the bird has to restore that heat in its body, then huge amount of energy is required, right? So in that case, surface area of that bird according to its size is very large, and large amount of heat is get released, so that bird, small size birds organisms cannot survive in the polar region. This question will be asked for 2 marks. Why we can't see small birds or organisms in the polar region? Reason behind this is that the ratio of their body surface and heat loss, right? So heat loss is more because their body surface is more according to their size, and that's why they cannot survive in the polar region. Next one is the partial regulator. Now partial regulator means what? There are some organisms, those who are regulators also as well as conformers also, right? So conformers means what? They can change their body temperature according to the environment, and regulators means what? They can regulate, keep it constant, right? So these animals show conformers, acts like an conformer for some extent of the temperature and the osmotic concentration, and beyond that they will be behave as a regulator, right? So these are 3 types of the organisms which we found, right? So in your textbook this picture is given, right? Conformers, here you can see, here this is the external environment level and this is the internal environment level. As a change in external environment, internal environment will also be changed. So these are changing according to the external conformers, right? And this we have seen regulators, right? So their internal level is the fixed one. It will not be increase, decrease. So it will be remain always constant whatever the change takes place in the external level. So these are the regulators, and I said just now the partial regulator. So here you can see up to this extent these partial regulators are there, they are acting as like the conformers, but after this point they becomes the regulators, means the 50% conformers and 50% regulators. So that's why these are known as the partial regulators. So prepare this diagram very nicely. Now see the next slide. These are some of the conditions where organism can escape their stressful condition and get survive. So in that, see the first one is given the migration. Migration means move away temporarily, not permanently, right? To avoid that stressful condition. Till the stressful condition will not go, the organism can shift from that locality to another habitat, and this is called as the migration. Suspension, you know the suspension, suspend, stop, right? So organism that cannot migrate, who cannot leave their place, go somewhere else, they can suspend their metabolic functions during the stressful period. This is called as the suspension, and you must have heard about this. That is hibernation, estivation and diapause. These are the three words which are explaining us about the suspension. Hibernation, estivation and diapause. You must have heard about the polar bear is there, then frog is there, right? And some of the spores are there. Spores are there, they are showing the diapause, summer sleep and winter sleep. That is the hibernation and estivation. See here hibernation given. Hibernation is a process by which animals avoid stress and become inactive during winter, right? So to avoid the low temperature condition, the organism becomes inactive and their all metabolical activities are there that will be totally reduced and completely becomes inactive. Examples for this, the organism those who shows the hibernation, this is also called as a winter sleep. Polar bear, frogs, lizard. So these all shows the hibernation or winter sleep to avoid the stressful condition of a low temperature. Like that the estivation is also there, where the organism can avoid stressful condition of a summer high temperature, right? And they will also become inactive during the summer, and that is called as a summer sleep. So who shows this estivation? Generally shown by fish and snail. So these are the two examples. Third word is the diapause. Diapause, it is the stage of suspended development. No development will be there, no activity will be there, right? So this is the stage of suspended development seen in zooplanktons to avoid unfavorable conditions. So in this way they avoid all unfavorable conditions, remains inactive, that is diapause. Example is zooplankton. Whenever the favorable conditions will be there, then all these animals once again will be active. So these are some of the terms. See in your textbook, this is given here. Regulate, conformers, right? Then migrate, those who are moving from their habitat to somewhere else for temporarily. Remember, suspend, those who are suspending their activities. So in that examples are also given, those who are showing the dormancy period, inactive state, right? And hibernation, estivation and diapause along with their examples, right? Today we have learned about the ecology, its various levels of ecology, abiotic factors which shows impact on ecology, and in that light, temperature, soil, water, right? So these all four abiotic factors we have seen, and next point we have seen about the behavior about the organism, that is regular, conformers and partial regulators, right? Then how the organisms can rescue from the stressful condition by showing these various points. So prepare all these points very nicely. All the points are important and prepare it very nicely. All the best.